Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And today on Going In Raw, we're going to ask the questions, who's the new NXT champion? Also, did that match at Mania between Jay and Jimmy suck? Jey Uso sure thinks so. Also, we're going to ask the question, who's going to get called up to main roster from NXT? Sorry. Who was it? Champ Fear and Loathing wanted me to bring back questions. I don't remember it really doing that. I used to do that every once in a while for like Ask teases. Wrestle Juice. But did I used to do it here?
Yeah, it's just teases.
Yeah, little teases. Today we're going to talk about, and then I would ask questions, cliffhanger questions.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, questions, no answers, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're here to provide the answers to all these things. And we've got an NXT review also. Well, definitively, we can say the answer to one of the questions. There is a new NXT champion. It's Trick Williams. Whoop that trick, Larson.
Whoop that trick.
Yeah, man. They did the cool thing, the throwback from the Vengeance Day match. And, of course, you know, from 1992's epic Superman versus Doomsday comic book, where they both, hit each other, or preceding that, Rocky 3 at the end, the cliffhanger to that movie was Rocky and Apollo like doing the double hit thing.
Yep, that's right.
That was an awesome cliffhanger right there.
That was good. That was good.
So yeah, we're going to talk about all that stuff on the podcast today. No doubt we'll probably talk about more as well because we're going to be answering a bunch of your questions. But first, let's talk about this. During a recent appearance on the Gorilla Position, I think it's a podcast, Jey Uso talked about his match at WrestleMania 40 against his twin brother, Jimmy. And a lot of us were sort of dumping on this match, saying it was a bit of a stinker, kind of a letdown. What we expected, given the high caliber of these wrestlers.
Yeah, the potential storyline to be mined.
Yeah, kind of didn't match that. Let's see what Jay had to say, though. These transcripts come to you via those other guys at the Wrestling Observer. He said this: I kind of feel like we did let the people down because I wanted to go out there and have a straight up banger too. I wanted to do the wrestling part, but let alone make sure the emotion part is there. It was just a time issue, Oos. You know what I'm saying? You just got to play your position on the team. That's what happened. I'm still happy, though, Oos. I got a singles match on WrestleMania with my brother. That's the big picture. So I'm always going to have me and him in the face-off at Mania. I'm going to frame a picture. It's marked off our box. I just wish we could have went ham the way I know we can. What's the subtext right there, man? Because time, come on. How many minutes do they have?
It was about 11 minutes. A little bit over 11 minutes. And compare that to Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Their match is only 10.5 minutes.
A lot of good matches can hit the 7, 8, 9, 10 mark and be banger matches.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can sort of read between the lines here? I mean, he says, I just wish we could have went ham the way I know we can. Yeah. This dude's been in the business for an incredibly long time. He's seen it all. Like, I don't know. Was the directive to go out there and be underwhelming?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, if it's a matter of time, at least nothing that preceded it seems like it probably went long. I imagine if anything took up the time, it was the main event of night one, which is nearly 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think time was the issue for Jay versus Jimmy. It was the fact that they focused exclusively on one story beat, but didn't really give it the substance or the care or subtlety or any of that it seemingly required. It was, hey, we're going to do some moves. Jimmy's going to say, hey, Jay, don't hit me with the super kick, to trick him into hitting him with the super kick, but then Jay wins anyways.
Yeah.
You know, it just seemed like from a story perspective, the story of the match, a little undercooked.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's, they have producers that put the stuff together.
Yeah, that is one of the things I'm sort of curious about in terms of, you would think that at this point in their lives, across not just wrestling, but just in their, existence, they would have developed a shorthand given that they are twins. Yeah. And I wonder how much of this was sort of left up to them, what kind of, what the putting this together entailed. And maybe it's a situation where this is that thing that they've been looking forward to their entire lives. And sometimes when it means that much, when it's that big of a deal, you might overthink it. You might try to, force the matter and get out of maybe like, whatever your usual rhythm would be. I don't know. I'm not there in the room. But I would love for these guys to get another chance at it. I kind of feel like it's going to go the opposite direction. I feel like before they would do another match, they're going to get together. I think that they're probably going to come together and do some bloodline business. It wouldn't shock me to see Jimmy take on Solo or Tama Tonga at whatever at Backlash or maybe the pay-per-view afterwards. I don't know. They might have written him off for a little while. But yeah, it'd be nice for them to get another opportunity on that level of a stage to sort of, say, hey, we can get you guys going. We can really get this crowd going big time.
Yeah.
Cause it's kind of bizarre that it didn't reach that level.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. And to hear Jay express to a degree his own disappointment in it, or at least understand why people were disappointed in it, is interesting. And it's refreshing to see that amount of candor regarding his own match,
And that's something we've always had from them. I mean, they did that interview when they were still, a cohesive unit. And they'd both said, this is what we want. We want to fight each other at WrestleMania. And then sure enough, the next WrestleMania that happened. And I always appreciate it. They didn't treat the brother thing as like, because I think the Young Bucks have said, we're never going to do a thing. We're never going to have a proper match against each other because we're brothers.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, damn that, I want to see that story. I want to see something cool like that.
Yeah.
And the Usos were like, yeah, that's what we want too. Probably I would guarantee you they probably spent however many days during their childhood just fucking each other up on the couch or on the bed or trampoline or whatever
and stuff. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Now they got to do that at WrestleMania. That's the good stuff right there.
Yep. All right, Steve, you want to talk WWE Draft?
Let's talk the draft, and it's
Friday.
apropos because the rules have been released, Larson.
That's why we're talking about it. So I got the rules in front of me. This comes to us from WWE themselves, so you think these are accurate. So there's a graphic here. They posted rules. They are as follows. SmackDown this Friday, 4 rounds, 6 picks total. 16 picks total. Sorry, 16 picks total, so 4 picks per round. On Raw, 6 rounds, 24 picks total. This is the interesting part. Champions on each brand are protected, so they're doing keepers. If you're a champion on Raw or SmackDown, you're staying there. Women's tag champs, however, are eligible because those are cross-brand titles.
Yep.
SmackDown will pick first on Friday. Raw will pick first on Monday. And this one part's interesting. Rosters lock Monday, May 6th. So that's the week after the draft concludes on Raw. Okay. So it's possible there could be trades or something like that.
I hope, man, I really hope they really sports this thing up. You know, trades and all
like
that.
Like that movie Draft Day.
Is that the one with Costner?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I think I've seen like one scene from it for some reason, and I forget why I've seen that one scene.
I don't know either. They released the draft pool for each night. Would you like to know?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Where are you finding the draft pool at?
On WWE's Twitter. So this is who's eligible on Friday. I'll go from they got graphics for everybody. So there's AJ, Alba and Ilia, Alpha Academy, Andrade, Bianca Belair, Ricochet, Randy Orton, Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, LA Knight. Yeah. Jay Uso, Ivar, Cedric and Ashante. Braun Breaker, Seth, Shayna, Sheamus, the Bloodline, the Good Brothers, and Mia Yim and Zoe Stark. That's who is eligible for SmackDown. So if SmackDown picks first, you would guess the Bloodline's being drafted to SmackDown, right?
I mean, yeah, you would think so.
And then Raw would pick Seth Rollins.
I mentioned this. All right, wait a second. Okay, so I'm looking at I have the Raw one right here.
The Raw one.
Oh, here's the SmackDown one. All right, let's take a look at the SmackDown one here. Because SmackDown, they get the, all right. So you think that SmackDown, who gets first pick? SmackDown?
SmackDown does on Friday.
So you think they're going to get the Bloodline.
Yeah.
That would make all the sense in the world.
And then Raw drafts Seth Rollins second.
Let's see. Well, I'm looking at this. Boy, kind of not the strongest draft pool imaginable. I mean, Seth is there, but Bianca's also there.
Yeah.
And
Could
Orton's
draft
there.
Bianca first overall. Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah, I would probably guess, especially because here's the thing, we don't actually know how long Rollins is gonna. I mean, we don't know how long.
I know
Rollins
he's out
is gonna
following
be out.
knee surgery, so
Yeah, like is the big three like an actual faction yet?
I don't know.
I would try that shit. I'd be like, Raw drafts the big three, and all this is like, whoa, wait a second, they're an actual fact. Look, man, they're on TikTok. People have referred to them as such. I think I've seen a picture where like somebody's throwing up a 3.
Tag match at Mania.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say I have some paperwork here.
The draft pool for Raw is much larger. Of course, there's more picks. Interesting, Braun Strowman's on the graphic for the draft pool for Raw.
Hey, look at that. Braun's there. That's cool.
So you got Braun, DIY, Apollo Crews, Bronson Reed, Candice and Indy, Chelsea and Piper, Phil.
Oh, dude, Raw with the first pick on Monday is going to go with CM Punk.
Take Phil.
That's going to piss off Drew McIntyre.
I know.
Oh, there's Drew's there too. Yeah.
Yeah. Creeds, Ivy Nile, Imperium in total, but Vinci's not with them anymore. Final Testament, Damage Control, Judgment Day, Katana and Caden, Kevin Owens, Santos, and the rest of Legado.
So many factions.
Naomi, Natalia, Lashley, Street Profits, and B-Fab, Tegan Knox, Nakamura, Pretty Deadly, Odyssey Jones.
Yes! The number 1 pick. Raw's gonna pick Odyssey Jones again.
New Day, New Catch Republic, mixing them. Tiffany Stratton, LWO.
New Quarter Catch Republic.
And Jade Cargill. That's your draft pool.
Oh man!
Plus NXT talents are eligible to be drafted as well. So that could segue into our next topic of discussion because it's in the title.
Well, hold on a second. I'm looking at this draft pool still. I'm looking at this Raw draft pool. You got Gunther in there. Let's see here. Man. Yeah, this is gonna be. Boy, there's so many factions. There are so many.
There are a lot of factions,
which I love to see because it's efficiency.
It is.
It's like don't have to split people up. Just all these LWO people over here.
We're drafting LWO. Yep.
Whatever Bobby Lashley and his dudes are calling themselves these days, they're coming over here.
Exactly.
Judgment Day, we're gonna get them all.
Final Testament. Yeah, I suppose.
No, that's okay. Supplemental, baby. They're the supplemental.
Oh,
the supplemental testament right there.
Yeah, I mean, like there seemingly is a couple stark differences. Most prominently.
look at Paul Heller.
I know his render is pretty funny.
Oh, that render is amazing.
It's pretty funny. Chance being protected. I know they got the belts now, so they're not brand specific, but nonetheless, it's cool to see that. Hey, champions of each respective brand are staying there.
I like
that.
It's
not to say they can't be traded, though. They can't be trades.
Let me ask you something. Are there any, because I like this stuff, are there any rules you wish they would have implemented on top of what they already have? You're a big fantasy football draft guy. You're in several drafts. Are there any rules that you have? It
would be great if they could trade for either do trades involving future picks.
Yeah.
Like say Raw really wants to move up night 2 to have the first 2 picks. So they trade the second pick plus their picks for next year's draft to move up.
Oh, that's good.
SmackDown is flush with draft selections the next year. Stuff like that. Like make it really.
I know, right?
But the NFL draft's coming up, and most of the excitement of the NFL draft is seeing teams make deals to move up and down the draft and how that affects everything.
What if Pierce unloads a couple picks for cash considerations?
Maybe.
And he's like, the next episode of Raw, he's like, look at this giant new Raw bus we've got.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are we going to do with this thing? Drive.
I mean, I don't know how they can necessarily do it, especially since NXT is not involved in the draft. It doesn't seem like, as far as picking talent.
Yeah.
Where someone could move ahead in the draft to swoop somebody that someone else wants. That's always really
that would be watch. That'd be cool. Oh, that's what they need. Who does the is it Silent? No, who is it that does the dude who does like in the NBA draft, this is now the number 1 guy in terms of talent available on the board.
On the board. Yeah.
That would be cool if they did that with NXT, you know?
That would be cool.
That'd be
cool.
pretty neat. Or
That would be
the entire thing, really. And have like running commentary. You know, oh my God, I can't believe they just did that. That was a lousy choice.
They should have matches affect draft picks too. Like
GM, Raw
like,
challenges SmackDown for this next pick.
Or it's like, Adam Pearce, like, I don't know who to decide between these two competitors. You go out there and wrestle, whoever wins gets drafted, you know?
And they both try to finger poke a Doom it because they don't want to go to Raw. They'd rather go to SmackDown. I don't want to be stuck on Netflix.
Stuff like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Like if you're gonna go all in on it, go all in on it, you know. I got a couple super chats here. Carson says, who is better, LeBron or Jordan, and why? This is a wrestling podcast. This is a wrestling podcast.
We'll save that for Friendo cast.
There you go. AJ Otani here says, will wrestling reach t-shirts? I personally think it's LeBron. Otani says, will wrestling reach t-shirts in stores levels again?
Maybe.
I mean, you can. They're in Hot Topic. I've gone to Hot Topic. You can see WWE shirts there.
Yeah. Caleb says the draft rules have been announced. Yep. And then Krauser says AEW had Mox main eventing tonight, but everyone bullied them to changing the main event to Swerve. They changed the graphic. World title is top title.
Oh, Swerve and Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher.
Two main events for
match.
Kyle Fletcher now. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Main event, Kyle Fletcher. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Anyways, as you were talking about earlier, man, now that all that stuff, I like talking about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
NXT, you know, there was a segment at the open of the show yesterday where Aldis and Pierce were practically salivating over who they were going to pick from the NXT talent pool. And Ava was sitting there saying, you know, got a lot of great talent here tonight, you know, could be very important for NXT and the draft. And so now that spring break-in, which they really did treat as like a big deal, the Trick Williams era has begun
just week
officially.
one of spring break-in too.
Yeah, but like they had both title matches tonight. Like next week, the big thing is Raw Underground.
NXT Underground, Steve.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. NXT Underground.
And the tag matches, or tag titles are on the line too.
Who are the tag champions again?
You asked that yesterday.
Axiom and Nathan Frazier.
Yes.
That's who it is.
Yes.
So yeah, but like the important night of spring break-in's done with. And so yeah, now we've got kind of an idea in terms of like, you know, the main champions anyways, like what's going to be going down. Are they doing like a Heritage Cup thing with Tony D and what's his face on next week's spring break-in?
Maybe.
Because it felt like that was supposed to set that shit up.
That would make sense.
In any event, let's take a look at what happened on NXT as it pertains to who could be available. Obviously, first up, Ilya Dragunov clearly is going to be probably one of the highest NXT draftees.
Yeah. This could be a situation like, Obafemi and Ivar's happening next week.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
That's a foregone conclusion right there, man.
Ilya getting drafted could be a situation comparable to when Finn Balor got drafted, where they make a huge deal out of it, you know?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And you'd think he's probably going to be drafted to whatever brand Gunther is on. Because if you want to get Ilya Dragunov over early on main roster within the first year, have him feud with Gunther.
Have a whole like 3 minutes. Kick that off at like King of the Ring or something. You know, what if Gunther gets upset in the by Ilya in the King of the Ring tournament? That'd be crazy.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
That'd be something. So let's look over this NXT roster and see. There's already been reports that Baron Corbin is going to get drafted. It makes sense. He took an L to Lexis King last night.
Yeah, hurt his draft stock. That's what they need to be doing. Is like, oh man, Baron Corbin. He was projected to go top 10, fell down into the like mid 20s because of his loss against lowly Lexis King.
I know. So Carmelo Hayes is pretty much already. He's been on SmackDown, so you got to assume he's getting the full-time call-up.
Yep.
Who else here?
Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, Lyra's probably going to get drafted.
She's going to get the call-up.
Gallus hasn't been on TV in a while.
They've been helping to train The Rock.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, yeah.
Oh,
I really hope when they get called up, like the music people accidentally use their old theme.
I know.
Because it was so much better than the Def Rebel or whoever did the other one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Gallus definitely a possibility.
As far as the women's division, I mean, could Blair Davenport get called up? She just lost to Sol Ruka. Sorry, Sol Ruka.
Sol Ruka took care of Blair Davenport last night, and commentary seemed to indicate that it was the blow-off, that weird gimmick match. It was a lot of fun. That was wildly fun. It felt like a blow-off.
It did.
And Sol Ruka got the win there. So, yeah, Blair Davenport, I always kind of felt like she was always destined to have like a cup of coffee in NXT just to get her used to the WWE stuff, but then she got injured.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see her. I could definitely see that happening.
Maybe Fallon Henley. She's been in NXT for a while, and she seems ready.
I was thinking the same thing, and she took an L last night to Jada Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this.
Sure.
Anybody on the roster now that has developed really quickly that you think could go earlier maybe than we had expected? And I'm thinking of Sol Ruka, for example.
Yeah.
Somebody who she's just coming back from injury, and I think that she probably is going to stay in NXT longer. But are there any names like that you'd be kind of surprised? Oh, man, like they must see something in them.
Yeah. Like the names that pop in my head are, and not that it matters per se, are involved in stuff in NXT. Like if they weren't tag champs, I'd think Axiom and Nathan Frazier, either as a tag team or individually, could get called up.
I mean, I know it was under a different, was it? Or was it Triple H? Yeah, no, it was Triple H who drafted the women's tag titles out of NXT. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a possibility. You would think that this year there'd be much more communication between the two between Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
You'd hope so, but who knows? If like Cora Jade wasn't injured, there'd be a possibility she could get called up.
Let me ask this. What about Metaphor?
Yeah, I thought about Metaphor as well.
They could be fun on main roster. They could be a lot of fun on main roster.
Really produce up Supernova sessions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God,
that'd be so much fun.
That would be a blast. That would be awesome.
But like looking at the NXT roster here, obviously they can draft people involved in storylines, but there's a lot of people that are seemingly involved in stuff. So I don't know how many of them are going to get kind of pulled out of what's going on in NXT, just get called to main roster. I don't know.
I kind of feel like that's NXT's deal, though. And I kind of think that like Shawn Michaels just sort of understands that, I mean, last night, like, okay, so give me some examples, though. Give me some examples of people who are
like anybody in Chase U.
Chase U, I don't know what's going to happen with Chase U.
Or
who would actually come with Chase U? The three that I know, obviously, Andre Chase, Duke,
Thea Hale, and Duke. I'd think like Duke could get drafted.
Yeah, Duke could get drafted. Did they do anything with him anymore?
I haven't really seen.
I don't know because this is only the second week of watching.
Yeah. Like Nathan Frazier and Axiom for sure. Dudes, or like the D'Angelo family, like Tony D's been in NXT for a while. He seems like he's ready to get called up.
He's been there from the get-go.
But they just brought in Luca and Rizzo to be part of the family relatively recently. So I don't know if they want to call him up, have Stax lead the family in NXT.
Stax has been there for a while, though.
Stax has been there for a while, too, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's just in a thing now with Charlie Dempsey, or No Quarter Catch Crew for that Heritage title. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do feel like, and I don't know, maybe they'll stick around, but like Charlie Dempsey is a guy, I mean, you could really use him big time as like a wrestler in NXT, but he could easily go to main roster and be totally fine.
Oh,
you know?
Oh, yeah.
He's got such a great charisma, such a great presence.
Yeah, he does.
So anyways, I think a lot of those names that we mentioned, but it'll be interesting to see how many people from NXT they actually do call up.
Yeah. I mean, Ilia is the obvious name.
Huey Cam says put Dempsey in Imperium. That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Anyways, before we get to our NXT recap, Steve, you want to pay some bills?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp, Steve. I don't know if you've noticed, but the weather is starting to get warmer. And with that, my social calendar is starting to fill up. But I'm starting to realize that maybe my social battery isn't what it used to be. And I'm concerned that I may be ignoring my social battery level and spreading myself and my social energy a bit thin.
No, man, I hear you. I've noticed the same lately, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's the right amount of socializing for me and how I go about recharging that social battery after I'm socializing.
Yeah, I think the same. I have those same thoughts. And whether you thrive around people or feel like you need some time to yourself, therapy can give you the self-awareness to build a social life that doesn't drain your social battery. You know, back when I was dealing with severe anxiety in my mid-20s, my social battery was basically running on empty. And I avoided social gatherings for the most part altogether. But therapy helped me learn the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety and helped charge up my social battery.
And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And let's get a word from our sponsor, Liquid IV, Steve. I think I can speak for both of us on this. One of the things that brings us just great joy in our lives are our semi-weekly basketball games that we play. Even though I lost a bunch yesterday, may not seem happy, I was. But as temperatures start to rise, it's even more important that we stay hydrated while we're out there making moments on the basketball court.
You really didn't seem too happy about that. Anyways, you're right, though, man. And, you know, with a single stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water, that hydrates me better than water does alone. With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drinks, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness, Liquid IV helps me avoid those nasty dehydration headaches I used to get after hooping it up. Although, lack of headache did not help me in trivia last night, Larson. I really needed you to be there for me. But
Sorry.
it is what it is. Anyways, Liquid IV is also the perfect companion to help you stay hydrated while traveling, after a long night out, or if you're just chilling poolside.
Yeah, and given how much I sweat and we play, Liquid IV is essential for me so I can replenish my electrolytes and keep hitting jump shots in your face, Steve.
Well, maybe not yesterday, though.
Well, at times. And for someone like me who doesn't like sugar, Liquid IV comes in 4 delicious sugar-free flavors. You got lemon lime, white peach, green grape, and my favorite, raspberry melon. So tear, pour, and live more and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com. All right. Anyways, let's talk about last night's NXT, as we mentioned at the start of the show, and it's in the thumbnail. We got ourselves a new NXT champion. Sort of saw this one coming, but it was an awesome moment. That crowd absolutely exploded.
Yeah.
Unlike at any moment I've seen that particular crowd do for anybody else.
They had a long shot after Trick won, and you could see the camera vibrate.
Yeah, and I noticed that too. That was crazy.
From the roar of the crowd.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. And yeah, you're right. That's a pop that you don't usually hear, at least to that extent, in the Performance Center, to see the actual building reverberate.
Yeah.
Due to the excitement of Trick getting that win. It was a fun match. I liked the moment, especially of camaraderie between Trick and Ilia. There was a moment in the match where they like stopped what they were doing, hugged each other, basically shook hands, and then got right into a hockey fight. It was they both entered this match with respect for their opponent.
Yeah.
But given what was on the line, not only the title but Trick's NXT career, it's obvious that they put everything they had into it. And it was great to see Trick get that win. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting over the next 3 years, especially to see where Trick is, between now and 2027, when theoretically the aliens show up.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be really difficult for them to go wrong with him. You know what I mean? Like, he's got everything. He's so incredibly likable. He's got the size. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. And it's funny because, just to contrast with, the current guy who's at the top of the company, Cody Rhodes. How many questions we get every week? When is the crowd going to turn on him? We've seen crowds turn on him in AEW, and it's a valid question. When are people going to turn? What's he going to do to make people turn on him? I don't know if that's ever going to be a concern with Trick Williams. Not to say I don't think they should ever make him a bad guy, because, changing characters sometimes can lead to more interesting stories. But, as long as it's done organically, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they've got something with him that you do not see often at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to witness that crowd, which has been there every step of the way with him. And we've often criticized that Performance Center crowd as sort of taken NXT for granted to a degree. And to see them explode, any hint of cynicism or whatever is just completely gone, and a genuine eruption of excitement, I think, is indicative of what his future is going to look like in WWE. And it's incredibly exciting to see them, take seemingly full advantage of what he brings to the table, which is, man, a lot. It's pretty awesome to see.
It is pretty awesome. And if this is Ilia's goodbye to NXT, he's had a heck of a run, especially if you include NXT UK. He's a hell of a wrestler, primed for a lot of success on the main roster. And it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up come draft nights, which brand he ends up on. Again, if they put him in a feud with Gunther at his first year on main roster, sky's the limit for him. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, with as far as Ilia is concerned, I mean, dude, we've seen, just go watch him versus Gunther, either of the NXT UK matches, and you'll understand you're in for a treat. The number of like dream matches that are just sort of waiting there for Ilia are kind of off the charts. But Gunther, first and foremost, I don't know. It might be. Let me ask you this: would it be more effective if maybe he was drafted to the same brand, but they took a while for that first path to cross? And maybe they literally bump into each other backstage to kick, just sort of as a tease, and let people start talking about it, but then don't visit it. Try to organically keep them away from each other for months.
Build to that moment. Yeah. It'd be great if they cross paths early. This clash is inevitable, but don't give us it right away. Give Ilia an opportunity to get some wins under his belt, to showcase what he can do on the main roster for main roster fans. Help us get a sense of the dynamic between them, and build to that organically. So I don't know, WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
they have their first match. Really take your time, build to it.
Yeah,
that's the
and
way
at
to
that
go.
point, maybe it could be for the world title.
Yeah, could be.
I'm not saying Ilia has to win that. I'm just saying, could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there for Ilia. And maybe we have talked about how Triple H has unfortunately dropped the ball in some respects, especially when it comes to the women's division on Raw.
Yeah.
And I wonder if an injection of some characters from the women's division in NXT that are already fully developed characters could maybe, I don't know, sometimes it'll just give it like a bit of a kick in the ass, and the rising tide situation, help everybody. Lyra comes over, and like a Saul Ruka or Fallon Henley or something comes over, and then that sort of sparks something, because then you have some fresh matchups, and you bring something out of them,
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, let's jump into it. Show kicked off with Adam Pearce, Ava in Ava's office, Nick Aldis zooming in on the TV. So they're chatting about the draft, and Nick's really putting over the NXT roster. Says there's several talents he's got his eyes on for SmackDown. Pearce really puts over the NXT women's division, and Aldis says, I'm really keeping an eye on this title match between Ilia and Trick tonight. Ava says tonight every single match matters, but after Monday and Friday, it's not about who goes to Raw or SmackDown. It's about who in NXT steps up to take their place. So I can say after tonight, NXT will never be the same.
After that, we show a bunch of people arriving at the Performance Center. And then we get our first match. They kicked it off with the women's title, Roxanne Perez versus Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley This was wildly fun. There's a lot of really fun stuff going on here. Roxanne gets this really cool jackknife pin win at the end. So Roxanne hits Tatum with 8 defeat. Lyra breaks up that pin. Perez and Lyra trade shots. Perez ducks a spin kick. Lyra hits a German suplex. Perez looks for a pop rocks on Tatum. And then she blocks that, but then Roxanne hits a kick on Perez. Wait, what? I'm reading the notes here. Roxanne hits a kick on Perez.
Oh, sorry.
And then Tatum slams Lyra, follows with a 450, covers. And then Roxanne slides in the ring and just effortlessly rolls up Tatum like off the pin into a jackknife pin of her own. It was a flawless finishing sequence right there. It was pretty
really
rad.
It was really, really good. It was pretty cool. After that, we had this video where WWE superstars and fans from the WWE universe weigh in who's winning the NXT title match tonight. There's a lot of time dedicated to promoting the main event. We had stars from main roster who were in NXT in the past. A lot of energy really putting in time to build up the main event as a huge match.
When you see Johnny Gargano, John, having like a little heart to heart with Trick, you kind of know what's going to happen, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But I do appreciate that, like, because Carmelo wasn't on the show last night, was he?
Nope.
I appreciate that, like, they have such a history that, like, the specter of Carmelo is sort of there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, like, at any time during this match, oh, this guy could come and screw it up, and then they have to go back to it. And so that's, you know, I like that they built this up so that it seemed like it was probably a foregone conclusion, but it really felt like it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like they really did a good job giving us the idea that, well, maybe not, you know?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. So then we're in the women's locker room, and Fallon and Thea are talking about, you know, the ongoing situation with Chase U. Thea says, yeah, I've worked everything out with Mr. Chase. She's handling JC next week. And she says, I'm thankful to have so many amazing people around me, like you, like Kalani, like Duke, like Mr. Chase, so on. So many people who make me better. And Fallon says, yeah, you got a ton of people who have your back. And then Jada Parker stands up and walks over to Fallon.
Talking shit.
Yeah, calls her the most popular loner she's met. It all ends up with pushing. They get separated by the rest of the locker room. They have match later.
Jada Parker's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
She's great. She just talks shit. After that, we had a little video package introducing, apparently these dudes have been on Level Up. Tyson DuPont, which is a great name.
It is.
And Tyreek Igwe, is that how you pronounce his name?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Big dudes. Interested to see what they can do. I don't watch Level Up.
Yeah, we don't watch Level Up.
Hey, we watch NXT now. So
maybe at some point we'll bring Level Up into the shows we watch.
How long is that show? It's like an hour?
I think it's an hour.
Does it have like commercials? So it's like 45 minutes?
Maybe.
When is it air?
I have no idea. Friday? Saturday? Weekend.
Is it during Collision? Are they
during
head with Collision? Where does it air? Is it on Hulu?
I don't know.
Oh, White Brownie says like 20, 25 minutes. Really?
Oh, really? Is it on Peacock? I think it's on Peacock.
If you guys didn't know, this is a wrestling podcast.
Yeah. Kind of shocking. We don't know anything about wrestling.
Kaufman says it's on Tubi. Oh, man. Dope says it's on Twitter, isn't it? That's Speed, Dope. That's Speed.
Yeah, Speed's on
Although
Twitter.
20 minutes, that's kind of like Twitter length, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny. So after that, we had an interview with the Creeds and Ivy Nile. So they're asked about the main event. Brutus says they wouldn't miss tonight for the world. One of the biggest NXT matches ever in the main event. And Ivy says, remember when the Creeds were in NXT chasing after titles, and now Trick is chasing after a title of his own. Julia says, yeah, it feels just like yesterday, but the momentum that Trick has really picked up the last couple of months. Says we've seen it since day one with him, and tonight we're going to see Trick slay the Mad Dragon.
The thing that I love about the Creeds in this segment is just the joy on in their body language that we're making main roster money because we're on main roster.
Yeah.
We're not here anymore.
Nope.
This was my favorite one here. White Brownie said it's on E-Bomb's World. Dope said Black Planet. Not Black Planet, Dope. Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good shout right there. We had the D'Angelo family versus no quarter catch Republic crew. Yeah,
it's so confusing.
The quarter guy. So wait, it was a new catch Republic and the no quarter catch crew.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They're too close together. It's too similar.
They are too close together.
Give us some differentiation between the names, please, and thank you.
That'd be nice. This
is a fun match, though.
Especially this is wildly fun. Yeah.
Tony got that hot tag and started throwing everybody around. And then he eventually pinned Dempsey with a sky high to get the win. You got to think. Heritage Cup match coming up soon.
Yeah, and clearly Dempsey's going to win that one. Maybe Tony D's going to get called up because, like, 2 big high-profile L's in a row.
Could be.
That could be.
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But where does that leave the rest of the family?
Oh, they'll go with him. They're all ready.
How do you think Luca the lawyer fits in on main roster, Steve?
Oh, seamlessly. That's how. Everybody they need lawyers there.
Maybe they do.
Oh shit! I was about to say something. I forgot what it was. I'm still laughing about the Black Planet thing. Who Eastside says is apparently still a website. That's awesome. Good for them. That was 20 years ago. Anyways, So Tony D on main roster. I could see that maybe. There are all sorts of factions there. So, you could do any number of things with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely him and Stax are super ready,
Yeah. Next up, we got there's a producer backstage that's kind of like giving Baron directions for an interview. So we got a camera shooting the camera, the producer who's got a camera of his own, giving direction to Baron about this interview. So the producer
because that had to have been a wide lens because that dude was in his face.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, Baron. So here's the thing: you're just gonna go ahead and let us know what you think about this." He's like, "You ready? You good? Okay, go ahead." It's like clearly his face isn't even framed in the damn camera properly.
Yeah. So the producer asked Baron, "Hey, do you know what Braun was going to say?" And Baron says, "I have no idea what he was going to say before the moment. In the moment, we're lucky if it makes sense." So Lexus King walks in. He's holding a basket full of stuff. And Baron says, "Keep rolling." Oh, no. Lexus says, "Keep rolling. This is going to make some great content. From a true king to a pretender. I heard you were leaving NXT, so I put together a little going away basket for you." So there's some food items. Looks like there's an autographed picture of Lexus King in there, a T-shirt, some other stuff. So Baron looks over the basket and says, "I don't know where you heard that. I think you're hearing a lot of people who hope I'm leaving NXT." So King says, "I get it. Your partner's up there on SmackDown, probably having the time of his life and not worried about you at all. And let's face it, you're going to strap your wagon on the next second-generation superstar, and he'll be better, more handsome than any other wrestler you've been with. Come to think of it, I accept." And so he walks off. And Baron says, "That guy has a tool bag. There's no chance that beard is real."
I love how much Lexus King, Pillman Jr., is just desperately trying to remember these lines. He says, "Keep rolling. This will make for great content."
Yeah.
Oh man, he's pretty entertaining though.
He is.
After that, we had Jada Parker versus Fallon Henley. The Jada Parker got the win with that hip attack. My goodness, used them hips for a lot of offense there, man. It's kind of awesome. This is good stuff. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see Fallon Henley get called up.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Would not be surprised either.
Whatever happened to where's the other dude? Not Briggs. He's got the DDP rib tape.
Brooks Jensen.
Yeah, where's that guy?
Oh, he hasn't been on TV in a while.
Does anybody know if he's injured?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Anybody?
I mean, John Chambers just says quit. I don't know what that means. JC Jane had a promo next to talk about Thea Hale. Calls her ungrateful. Says you had a one-way ticket to the hottest attraction, NXT, and I stood behind you in hopes that one day you'd realize that JC Jane always knows best. But Thea, did you fall and smack your little head on the pavement? Or maybe I missed the part where you say, thank you for everything that I've done for you. I took you under my wing. I made you into everything you wanted to be. You should be kissing the ground I walk on. Instead, all you do is show that you're an ungrateful little girl. So next week at Spring Break in 2, I'm going to end you. And Thea, you're going to learn that gratitude is not an option for the debt that you'll repay to me.
JC Jane's a name that could totally go to main roster.
Totally.
Yeah. After that, we had a Natalya Lola Vice video package, followed by a JD McDonough interview. He's asked who's his pick to win the main event. He says, as you know, Ilia and I have a lot of history together. We had one of the greatest rivalries in NXT, so I think I can speak for more experience than most, that if you want to beat Ilia, you got to hospitalize him. And I know Trick Williams isn't that guy. And then JD leaves, and Happy Tyler Bate and Grumpy Pete Dunne rushes in.
Oh, yeah.
Bate's like, Ilia and Trick going to smash each other. And Dunne says, my money is on Ilia. And Bate says, Trick has bounced back every single time. I think Trick has the techers. He's got the techers.
Then we got the Natalya Lola Vice contract signing. So they prepared the ring like it will be for NXT Underground. By that I mean they took the ropes off.
They took the ropes off, and they duded up the lighting, to make it
they
look...
lowered the house lights. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So Ava's there. She's hosting the proceedings. She introduces Natalya. She's joined by Carmen Petrovich. So Natalya comes to the ring, signs the contract. Then Ava introduces Lola Vice. She comes and signs. So Natalya is just obsessed with who's going to be in Lola's corner.
Yeah.
And Lola says, you're more worried about that than what I'm going to do to you in NXT Underground. And Natalya says, the difference between us is that I respect where you came from. She says, I have respect for superstars past and present, but if you're the superstar that's going to lead NXT into the future, then I'm going to have to beat some respect into you. Next week, I want you to bring everything you have, because I'll tap your ass out. Mm-hmm. And Lola says, you could try, but your fate is in my hands, and my trading partner will make them even faster. Shayna Baszler's music hits.
I wish they used the old NXT theme.
I know.
It was so good.
It was. So Shayna says, Natty, I think you're smart enough to realize that your chances have gone from slim to none when it comes to fighting the most dangerous woman in NXT is aligned with the baddest woman in WWE. So still time for you to get out of this gracefully. If I were you, I'd take that contract and tear it up, especially if this is your trading partner, talking about Carmen Petrovic. Mm-hmm. So Shayna goes up to her, shoves her. Carmen kicks her in the head and knocks her out.
Yeah, that was cool. That was neat.
Pretty great. And so a brawl breaks out, and it leads to Natalya and Carmen standing tall.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. It was a well-done contract signing. It wasn't too long. Wasn't overly talky.
I thought it was good. There was a good surprise there. Yeah, no, I thought it was really good, man.
Ended in action. It worked out pretty well.
And, hey, maybe you can motivate like a main roster match between Shayna and Natalya. That's the kind of like cross, promotion, cross brand stuff that they should be doing. And then you give, the women's division something to do on main roster because, lately they've just been struggling.
Yep. Then after that, Ridge Holland arrives at the Performance Center earlier in the day. And he says it's been a rough few months for him, but it's time to rack up some victories and show that he can do things the right way. Didn't he quit?
Dude, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, he retired from in-ring competition, and then a week later he was in-ring competition.
Yeah, this is all kind of confusing.
It was very confusing.
So anyway, Sean Spears walks up to him and says, hey, maybe you found out what you're really capable of. You should embrace it. Give in to those thoughts. Let them out. And Rich says, I know what you're doing. You can't rile me up. Then we get a video package for the tag team title match next week between who are the NXT tag champs, Steve?
I think it's a Gallus.
Incorrect.
It says right here it's Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
Frazier and Axiom and AOP.
One of the hard truths. I can't remember who you are, Nathan Frazier.
Oh, wow. Deep cut. So
right there.
After the package ends, they cut backstage in the locker room, and Frazier and Axiom are watching it, and they're complaining about AOP. Axiom is about AOP coming in and ruining their title celebration. And Frazier says, yeah, AOP are monsters, but somehow, some way, we're going to beat them. So then Malik Blade steps forward and goes, you know what? Screw AOP. There's tag teams coming in here demanding an opportunity when he and Enofe can't catch a break. So that brings in the Good Brothers. And Gallo says, oh, really sarcastically, oh, we're so sick of people coming in and try to take those tag titles. And Enofe turns around and says, I got something to say to you. And no one else is going to say it. But when he turns around, he knocks over the mirror that's in his locker. And he picks it up, and it's shattered.
So, like, they were like, oh, no, another 7 years of bad luck. Had he done this before?
It makes it seem like it, yeah.
Yeah, maybe somebody can.
So if
fill us
are they
in
trying
on
to explain why they don't win tag matches by saying that Idris and Enofe is broken mirrors or
that?
a mirror?
At least it's an explanation. Because when we left NXT and came back to NXT, they were in the exact same spot.
Yeah, it's true.
After that, we had Blair Davenport versus Soruka
This match was really fun.
in what was this, like a beach break match or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like
and
that.
It was just like a beach theme, no DQ weapons match.
Yeah.
So like there was a cool bit where like they did like a table spot from like the barricade.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then and of course Saul's freaking
Soul
the
Snatcher.
Soul Snatcher. Oh my god.
Yeah, doing that on the boogie board, that was cool.
Yeah, on the boogie board. Yeah, that was so cool. That was so neat. So yeah, Soruka gets the win over.
Sorry,
Blair. Soruka.
Thank you.
I was watching Godfather. Man, it was so annoying. I got my breakfast sandwich this morning, popped on. It was like on the Chromecast, it says continue watching, right?
Yeah.
So on Pluto TV, they've been having this, like, there's like this Godfather channel. Plays nothing but Godfather movies.
The 3 movies, right?
Right, exactly. But there's different variations. There's like that one network version where they smashed chronologically. It was like the Godfather saga.
Yeah.
So they play all sorts. But this was just Godfather 2 because you watch it on demand as well. So I pop it on. It's like on the party scene right before when Michael realizes that Fredo fucked him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he does the whole, you broke my heart, you know. And so, it progresses on and it's getting kind of deep. I watched it for like a half hour. And then like Gypsy was bugging me for something like, the scraps off my plate, my breakfast sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So like I go over to reach and I accidentally hit the remote control and it kicks it back to the main menu. So I'm like, oh crap, let me get back to it. And then it put me back at the party scene. Lost that entire half hour. So I just failed, just went to my office in defeat.
Head down.
Soruka.
Like George Michael on Arrested Development.
Exactly, yeah. The Charlie Brown meme.
Next on NXT, we're in the locker room. Trick Williams is on the phone with his mom.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking to his mom and asks what the doctor had to say.
Yeesh.
So she answers. And he says, well, I'm going to fight tonight, and you need to fight as well. And John Gargano steps in.
John.
And asks how Trick is feeling. Trick says, well, my career is on the line, but I love this place. The pressure is on. And Gargano says, no pressure, no diamonds. Says, you've lost to Ilia in the past, but you've been through so much since then. You need to use this pain, this betrayal, talking about Mello, as a weapon. It's made you stronger, and there's only one Trick Williams, and Ilia has not beaten this Trick. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to give everything to slay the Mad Dragon, become champion? And Trick stands up and says, I'm ready.
No pressure, no diamonds, Larson.
Yep.
I'm gonna get that
Remember
tattooed.
that basketball court.
I'm gonna get that tattooed in Old English.
You should. On
Like
your
one
chest.
across the chest, no pressure, and then across the belly, no diamonds.
There you go.
Oh man. Anyways, after that we had Baron Corbin versus Lexus King. The Baron Corbin Award match of the year right here.
Yeah, I know.
The Going in Raw Wrestler of the Year match of the year. Lexus King gets the win with that weird finisher of his.
We had to kick Baron in the balls first.
Yeah, he kicked him in the nuts first because like Baron was like, "Oh, I can't run into the referee," and so Lex was like, "Whoop-pat," right to the balls.
Yeah, I got a raid here from Cultaholic. Thank you so much.
What's up, Cultaholic? Thank you for
Hello.
the raid. Thank you so much.
Then we get a video package hyping up Trick versus Ilia. We get an Ilia interview after that. He says, Trick has gained my respect, but all I have in this life are my family and my championship, and Trick's not going to change that because I am forever, was it unbreakable? Is that what unbesiegbar means?
Unbesiegbar.
So then Damian Priest steps in and says to Ilia, Good luck tonight, champ. So Ilia nods to Priest, leaves. I forgot the interviewer's name in NXT.
I forget it too. Maybe somebody in
forget,
chat knows.
It's not Kelly Kincaid. It's
right. It's the other one.
I can't remember her name. So, anyways, after Sarah, thank you, Sarah Schreiber.
Yes.
So then Priest puts his arm around Sarah and looks at her and says, "How you doing?"
How you doing?
Very
he
much,
has like a dorky smile on his face because he
Yeah.
knows it's super cheesy.
It is party vampire. Damian Priest
Yeah.
is back. He
Yeah,
walks through
exactly.
those doors of PC.
You
Party
revert
vampire
to your
stuff.
previous gimmick when you do that.
Yeah, I think so.
After that, we had Trick Williams backstage in advance of his entrance. They're preparing him for the eventuality when he'll come to main roster and have those long entrances.
Yeah.
Starts with an interview. Byron's there. Says, what are your thoughts tonight before the main event? And Trick says, Byron, you know what this is. Either I win tonight or I leave NXT for good. Either I'm y'all's champion or I'm a bust. Either I prove myself right or I prove myself wrong. Either way, I'm going to fight. If there's one thing you need to know about Trick Williams, I fear no man, so I can live with tonight whether it goes good or bad. Like my mama said, let's go whoop that Trick. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then the camera follows him, and he goes out there, and that whole place is whooping that Trick.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And him and Ilia had a really solid match. The second half of it especially picked up after Trick put Ilia through the announce table with an Uranagi off the barricade. Trick was hitting some of Ilia's moves. Hits an H-bomb, a torpedo. Ilia kicks out of that. And then Ilia hits him with a standard H-bomb. And then one off the second rope, Trick kicks out. Then Ilia hits another one off the top rope. But he sells wrist for a moment, so he's slow to cover. Trick kicks out, and then Ilia hits a German suplex. Trick responds with a running knee. Ilia kicks out of that. So then they're standing in opposing corners. And this is a callback to their Vengeance Day match, where in that instance, Ilia was quicker to get his finisher off than Trick was. Tables turned this time. Trick's able to hit the running knee before Ilia can hit the torpedo. Trick covers to get the win. And then the ref brings the belt in the ring, and Ilia takes it from the ref and presents it to Trick. Gives him a hug. It was a really cool moment. So Trick is your new NXT champion. Ilya's on his way to main roster. A really cool moment to close NXT last night.
Yeah, dude, it was rad. It was awesome. And like you said, that crowd absolutely exploded. So really good stuff there.
Awesome stuff. You want to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions.
All right. Jared Ellis here asks, who do you think has the best shot to be the first AEW Grand Slam champ? So it's world title, tag title, TNT title, international title.
Does it have to be all of them?
Well, it's before at least. Grand Slam before.
Grand Slam was 4. So I guess it could be either trios or one of the mid cards, you know.
Yeah. So right now, Kenny is a former tag champion, world champion, and trios champion. So if he gets a T or TNT or international, then he'll get it.
All right. Is Hangman a trios?
No, I don't think he's tag champ and world champ. Only. White Brownie says Chris Jericho. Jericho's been world champ, FTW champ, and Ring of Honor champ.
I mean, it helps that there's like a lot of titles there.
Tons of belts.
I don't know if would WWE consider it Grand Slam if it's like your NXT champion, WWE champion, and you know what I mean? Like NXT doesn't count towards that.
Yeah.
It's different. So I don't think Ring of Honor would really count.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's totally Kenny, but like beyond that, probably, I don't know, Hangman.
Yeah, I would think Hangman.
I could see him winning one of those subtitles, one of the mid-card titles.
Swerve has world title and tag title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your boy here says, when was the last time you guys got genuinely worked? Osprey at the post-show media scrum had me thinking Danielson was done for.
Oh.
Danielson worked a lot of people there at that last paper.
I'm sure there's an instance. Just trying to think what it is.
I know there was this is a small thing. It's not like a major thing, but there was a Bianca match relatively recently where she was selling the crap out of leg, and I swear I was like, oh my God, she landed horribly on that.
I know what you're talking about.
But she was like, fine, you know. I mean, some people are just really good sellers, you know.
Yeah. Gosh, I'll have to think about that. Alex Foster here says, you guys have said that NXT UK wrestlers would feud over a spilled pint, but very small nuances with the current NXT roster bicker over, considering it seems to happen at the drop of a hat. Oh, we see that even last night with Jada Parker and Fallon Henley.
Yeah.
Jada was like, you're trying to be a leader, but you're a loner.
Yeah, but that's more of a, you know, what's like a thing. Like, you know, they've got I don't know if they go there anymore, but like they used to have the camera in the commons area quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like there was stuff that happened in there all the time.
They would do stuff, yeah, but like, you know.
Well, like matches made in there over little things.
Yeah.
Hey, you took my lunch out of the refrigerator. My name was on it.
The roster's so big. You know, like how many sack lunches are going to be in that refrigerator? They need multiple refrigerators.
It's, you know, if yours is right next to someone else's and you're like talking to somebody, you think you grab yours, you grab someone else's, and this happens sometimes.
If you're Fallon Henley, you're like, wait, am I Fallon Henley or Tatum Paxley? Which name do they give me? I don't know. Here, I'm just going to take Tatum's. I don't care.
Oh, we didn't talk about this. We could. Merle here asked, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission on Tuesday approved a rule to ban agreements commonly signed by workers not to join the employer's rivals or launch competing businesses, commonly known as no-compete clauses. Merle asked, how large of an impact will this have on the professional wrestling business? Remains to be seen. I'm sure that ruling is going to be challenged in court, and I don't know if there's going to be a stay issued while that is all, you know, dealt with and gone through the legal process. You know, if it's a situation where there's not going to be a stay on that ruling while it's going through the courts, then it's possible that, for example, everybody who just got released by NXT, or sorry, by WB, they could sign wherever they want. I don't know. I don't know how to. I didn't get into the intricacies of who it applies to. I did see that it was like a blanket ban, save for like senior executives. I don't know if that's strictly for employees, whereas WB talent are independent contractors. I don't know if there's a difference there. Mm-hmm. I didn't look into it that much.
Patty Swan TV says, from what I've read, WWE contracts wouldn't abide by that anyway. Apparently, their no-competes are voluntary. I don't know if that's true. So one thing I've heard about the no-competes there is that you're still getting paid. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know how that usually, you know, for like other situations with no competes, if that's the case.
Yeah.
But like, I would think if this does end up affecting WWE contracts, and if, you know, in the end, no competes can't be a thing anymore, you'd have to basically give up that pay for that last 90 days. Mm-hmm. I mean, if they're signing a contract saying, yeah, you know, if you're released for 90 days, you can't work somewhere else, but we're going to be paying you, maybe they'd have to amend that to say, well, either you don't compete and we pay you for those 90 days, or, you know, you're not going to get paid and you're just sort of on your own.
Yeah.
But obviously for high profile free agents, that's not going to be an issue. They'll just show up on AEW the next day, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And if that becomes a new reality, we'll just get used to it and it'll make things super exciting for us. So I hope that goes into effect. But like you said, I'm sure there's probably a ton of legalities left, and who knows if it'll even affect what WWE does.
Exactly. Yeah. No idea. Timor here asks, what's the most you spent on wrestling tickets? It was probably the field seats for WrestleMania 33. Don't say how much, but they weren't cheap. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not worth it either.
No. Let's see here. Mikey7G says, I love that Solo Sikoa's finally taken that next step. Who's a wrestler that you cheered for despite bad creative or fan backlash? Cody. I was always a Cody guy, even in AEW. That dude went through a burning table with Andrade. Yeah. He was on fire, and that fucking crowd was still booing him. Get out of here with that.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that.
Yeah. You know, he wasn't resonating with the AEW crowd. What do you expect, Steve?
Expect somebody to show respect when somebody's going through a burning fucking table.
LPS has a Cody question. With Cody landing a role in the Naked Gun remake, You excited about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Liam Neeson.
Which other current wrestler could you see having a role in a comedy spoof film?
Oh man, dude, a lot of those wrestlers have really good comedic timing.
Cameron Grimes. Sorry, Trevor Lee.
That's good. That's a good one.
Oh, CD5 says Chelsea Green. That's a good answer.
That's a really good answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was I saying the other day has really good comedic timing? Said something.
You said Roman.
Roman does have really good comedic timing.
He does.
Jimmy Uso. Let's see here. The M20 says power rank the top 5 wrestling tag team belt designs. So who are we talking, like modern one, like ones that are now today?
Yeah, I guess so.
What are the 5? Like AEW, SmackDown,
AEWs
Raw,
are cool looking belts.
the
The Raw ones.
New
Sorry,
Japan,
the SmackDown
I
ones are
guess?
pretty cool. Yeah, New Japan.
NXT ones. I'd put the new A-Town down under ones.
SmackDown
number
ones.
1, yeah.
That one.
Put those number 1.
They're good looking titles.
I don't know. There's in my honestly here's a hot take for you. There's never been a good looking tag title.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all just sort of mid. You know,
Even the new
AEWs.
SmackDown ones. They're really sharp. They look great.
I like the look. I'm not gonna say they look great. They look good. They look good. Okay. I like them because comparatively speaking, they're awesome compared to the dog shit we had before.
Oh, absolutely.
But like even the ones the one you got behind you there, you know.
The NXT UK tag titles were awesome. White Brownie brings those up. Those were cool looking belts.
Those were cool.
All the
they
belts
also,
in
I'm
NXT
pretty sure
UK
had those
look
like
great.
they had really big griffins on them.
I think so.
Yeah. That'll help.
So.
The Griffins help.
Yeah, Griffins do help. A couple people are asking about who should be the first NXT Women's North American Champion.
Sol Ruka.
Sol Ruka.
Sol Ruka.
Sol Ruka's the answer. Oh, man. Jonah here asks if Trick has one more year in NXT, who are some wrestlers he should feud with for the title?
Lexus King.
Yeah, probably.
Luca the Lawyer.
Maybe. If Tony D stays in NXT, for sure, D'Angelo.
Hank Walker?
Hank
Is that
Walker.
his name?
Yeah,
Hank Walker.
Yeah, Hank Walker's right.
Frank Ledger.
Probably Josh Briggs.
Josh Briggs.
Dijak.
Dijak. Yeah. Apparently, somebody earlier said that Brooks Jensen kayfabe quit.
Ah, all right.
After he said after Obafemi folded him like a lawn chair.
Yeah, those are all good names. Dijak versus Trick's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome. Whoop that Trick. Cream Review says, why didn't WWE book Von Wagner as the next Sid? Vaughn, the big fireworks display behind him. Vaughn.
Yeah. I don't know. It took him forever to crack something for Vaughn. And then they finally did, and he was getting over. They released him.
Yeah.
So who knows? Hey, I realize we haven't said thing one about the Friendo Club setup, and we got 600 people watching now.
Ooh.
A little late in the show, but we'll talk about it nonetheless. Friendo Club setup, of course. You go to patreon.com/Steven Larson. Join the $5 tier there, or if you're watching on YouTube, you just hit join.
That's all you do.
You get a bevy of benefits. FriendoCast bonus episodes. One just went up. Would you put up last night or today?
Late last night.
All right, we're going to record another one today.
We are.
Talk about anything other than wrestling.
Yeah, no wrestling questions.
No wrestling talk whatsoever.
No wrestling questions.
Also, Big Blue Predictions Challenge. We're in the midst of one right now. Just got through. What was the last pay-per-view? Dynasty. AEW Dynasty. Take the scores from there. Add them to Backlash. Whoever has most points. New Big Blue champion. Or someone could retain or win for the second time.
Cruz is in our Twitch chat. Cruz might retain.
Entirely possible.
I don't know where his points are right now.
We have question threads for all our shows. If you get the Friendo Club set up, you get access to those question threads. Ask us questions. Also, if you're watching on the YouTube here, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, notify bell, please, and also hit that like button. Really
It's
helps
the one
the
that
show
looks like a hand
with the
with
thumb
a
up.
thumb articulated in the up position.
And it helps the show with the algorithm and YouTube stuff. It makes us feel good if we get a lot of likes. Right now, we got about 585 people watching, yet only 139 likes. Not enough. We want 50%. That means 290. So if you could, please hit that like button.
You see that piece of AI art that's floating around of Vince McMahon smoking crack with Slimer from Ghostbusters?
I have not seen that.
I'll just send it to you. It's hilarious. I was really hoping you hadn't seen that so that you'd be surprised when I say that.
Yeah, I have not seen that. That has not popped up my timeline yet. Nope.
You gotta level up your For You, man.
I guess so. Wow, how did that not cross my path yet?
I like that you're typing in Vince McMahon smoking crack with Slimer.
No, I'm just
right
refreshing my timeline here. See if I'm just a little late to it. No.
Why did I bookmark it? Hold on a second.
Oh dear.
Somebody. Oh, there was that one. And there was also like that Motown sounding song that somebody whipped up with AI.
Oh,
I glued my balls to my butthole.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was in my timeline today.
Oh, that was the funniest thing.
Yeah, that's pretty darn funny.
Crack Slimer. Let me search these terms. Vince McMahon, crack Slimer. Oh, nice. I found it.
All right. Text it to me, please.
Oh, man. Dope sent it to us in the text.
Oh, there we go. What the heck?
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Ricky has a question here in chat. Ricky N says, hey, guys, I'm a big dummy Android user. Big dummy. With Google Podcasts shutting down? They're shutting down? They could just do that?
I guess so.
What would be the next best thing to listen to the audio?
There's tons of podcast apps outside.
Well, I think he's asking for.
Yeah, I know, and I don't necessarily know if any of them have certain benefits over others.
We had heard. I mean, I think I used Castbox for a spell.
Yeah, I still do.
Okay,
use
yeah,
Castbox.
I think Castbox works pretty well.
Yeah, I've never
That's
had any
a good
issues
one.
with it.
John Hosey mentions YouTube podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's. Are they? Is that not the same as Google Podcast? I think they're taking that down. I don't know.
Okay.
Here we go. Tiger says Google Podcast moved everything to YouTube Music. Okay, that's good.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
As of June 24th, you have exactly 2 months. All right. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to suggest, I heard a lot of good things, and when I used Castbox, it was pretty solid. So
Yeah, I've never had any issues with Castbox. I've been using them for years. Lawrence Vaught here with became a member on YouTube. Thank you. Got some super chats here. Maggie says, whoop that trick, a.k.a. hit the like button. Thank you, Maggie. Maggie's our champion. I think that. And then AJ Otani is a member. Oh, we got that already. All right, so we're up to date there.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, man. Well, I think unless there's anything else, I think we're good for the day, right?
I think so, at least
Is our
for now.
obligation complete?
I guess so. We still need 200 likes. Please hit that like button. Dude, we got
Oh, my
566 people watching.
What in the
like
world?
button.
Come
Please.
on.
Come
Hit
on.
that like button. There is a Hilton in the wall. By the way, I forgot to mention this. May the 4th, Pacheco, California, Action Coast Wrestling. It's the promotion that Larson and I own. So Hilton, no meet and greet there, but I've heard that there might be. We're trying to line up Hilton impersonator for a meet and greet. So you might not get to meet Hilton, but you might be able to meet a Hilton impersonator. We're working on it. You can get your tickets at Eventbrite. Even if this falls through and there's no Hilton impersonator, you'll still get a lovely evening of pro wrestling.
That's correct.
Looking to try to get Hilton impersonator. Don't know if it's going to work. He's right there, and he's telling me no. But, I don't think he can decide.
I think Hilton's priority now is getting out of that wall he's stuck in.
He's like glitching. It's like a 2K thing.
Yeah, it is. So maybe you should address that. Why Hilton's stuck in your wall before.
Every time I come in here, and then it's like, man, if I want to get naked in my own office, I got Hilton in the wall here. I can't do it in front of him.
Well, you just got to be comfortable with your body, I suppose, at that point.
I'd be comfortable with Hilton in the wall looking at my body. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.